Joe, Miami finds himself in the playoff, and I'd be remiss not to say congratulations, my good sir. Our good friend Joe here was on the Miami hype video getting into the playoff.
Yeah, nobody could convince me that wasn't a troll job. No one can convince me that they didn't do that on purpose, because that was from months ago, that clip. That clip was from months ago.
Joe, that's from 3 months ago.
That was from the beginning of the season.
Yes,
that guy went dug that up from the beginning of the year to pull a clip of me talking about how much I loved Miami. Thanks.
Pretty much. But Miami finds themselves in the playoffs against Texas A&M. When you preview Miami taking on the Aggies, what are your thoughts?
Blake, I am really interested in this game. I am so fired up for this game because I think that this creates a matchup where both teams have intriguing strengths against one another, as well as weaknesses that could end up hurting them. And what I mean by this, we have in this battle, both teams' strengths are going head-to-head with their opponent's strengths. Miami's offensive line, tremendous. It's had a couple of down games, but it is a big physical group going up against a pass rush that has gotten after every quarterback that they've faced. Cassius Howell has played unbelievably well, and he is not the only guy that is produced. And on the other side of this, you've got the Texas A&M offensive line that's one of the best in the country as well, going up against Mesidor and Ruben Bain and their relentless attack. But where this game gets interesting, and along the lines of scrimmage, it's going to be really fun to watch that battle go down. You have a Miami secondary that has been susceptible to giving up big plays to opposing receivers, especially in the games that you lost. You gave up 136 yards to Chris Bell. You gave 136 yards up to the other Jordan Hudson. Those games against good receivers, you played poorly. You have to now prepare to go up against Mario Cristobal and KC Concepcion, who are cooking every single secondary that they've seen. But on the other side of this, Blake, my last part here, Miami runs the ball really well. When they run the ball at their best, they are hard to stop. Texas A&M has a really bad run defense at the current moment, like we saw against Texas, 84th in the country in EPA per rush allowed. Like, I think that this game has so many different tipping points, and I think it's going to be a real hard-nosed battle.
You know, you bring up so that was my initial take. Miami's had a problem in the two losses that they had this year with bona fide wide receivers. When those bona fide receivers go up against you, and Chris Bell, who had 136 and 2 touchdowns, and Hudson that had 11 catches for 136 yards. I understand that you have injuries, you have issues, and I get all of that. But now you're going up against two. And Mario Cristobal and KC Concepcion can flat out eat. And they're going to eat. My question is how – this is going to come off wrong. Is Marcel Reed going to turn the ball over? Because that has been the biggest issue with them. It's not been how physical they are along the line of scrimmage. Everybody points to their run defense. All these different quote-unquote issues with A&M. Their biggest problem has been Marcel Reed's turnovers. And if they can eliminate that, they're going to continue to find ways to be able to hit KC Concepcion, Mario Cristobal, Terry Bussey, etc. I think the blueprint, for what it's worth, has been laid out for Miami on how to beat them. But Texas also showed you the blueprint on how to beat A&M. They gave it to Wisner, and they ran the football all over A&M. Can you use the physicality, which is your strength, your offensive line, which you believe is your strength, your power running game, which you think is your strength, and do exactly what Texas did? Because they're the two blueprints to beat both of these teams. Both of them have advantages. Where A&M has the advantage of them having bona fide receivers and Miami having struggles at stopping bona fide receivers. And in a physical run game that A&M couldn't slow down versus Texas, who, by the way, Texas couldn't run the ball. But they decided to line up and hand it off to Wisner and say, get out of the way, move, get out the way, like it's a Ludacris song. And no, we're not talking about housewife and the hose, hashtag Lane Kiffin. What we're talking about is both of your strengths are going up against both of the weaknesses. Who's going to prevail in it? Yep. Whoever prevails in that is going to win. However, Joe, this Miami rushing attack has been slowing down some the last couple of weeks. They're 77th in the country in rushing offense. Are you going to be able to have enough explosive plays? I'm not saying that you're not physical, but are you going to have enough explosive plays? Because if you play in a phone booth with A&M, that's exactly what they want. Where has the running game issues been for A&M? It's been when teams have attacked the perimeter and hit the outside perimeter where they're giving up massive chunk yardage. So if you're going to try to play in a phone booth with them, yes, run defense has been an issue. Playing in a phone booth has not been. So saying you're running the football is not the answer. Trying to get Tony and some of these guys to the perimeter is going to be the biggest thing here. So 2 big strengths versus 2 big weaknesses. Whoever prepares the most. And I got to be real with you. Something just makes me feel like Elko is going to come with some crazy shit defensively to confuse Carson Beck to be able to make him turn the ball over. That is where I lean my hat on, because Carson Beck also, I talked about Marcel Reed. Carson Beck is also susceptible to also turning the ball over too.
So that's another part about this. This is why I'm excited for this game, is that there's a lot of mirrored situations for both of these teams. Both quarterbacks have played at a high level in specific situations, specific areas throughout the year. Beck having a 74% completion percentage is nuts. But you've got 2 quarterbacks who both have thrown for 25 touchdowns and both have 10 interceptions. That's a lot of picks. That's a lot of picks to throw in a year. I think you bring up a really important part with this, is we kind of highlight this is why I like this game, and I'm excited to talk about it, is because I think that there's so many layers that we could just keep peeling back, and this is the latest one. Which quarterback protects the football better? Marcel Reed has had issues with turning the ball over the past couple of games. If he is deliberate and he is careful and he is playing within the system and not missing DBs that are floating around, and he connects with his guys, big plays all over the place. The same thing applies here with Carson Beck. Carson Beck reads what's ahead of him and doesn't try to take unnecessary risks. They're going to produce big plays as well. They both have really athletic quality receiver rooms. It's going to come down to, I wouldn't be shocked, Blake, if this game isn't simply decided off of who has the least turnovers. I feel like that is going to be
that's what's going to come down to.
Big piece in this. Yeah.
Let me hit on Carson Beck before we move on here.
Okay.
Mike Elko has been not good this year, but elite this year at getting after the quarterback on third down. Joe, they're number 1 in the country in third down defense and getting off the field on third down. They're not even giving up a third of the percentages on third down, and they're getting off the field. You talk about the turnovers there. Carson Beck has been very susceptible to, when he gets confused, making wrong decisions. For some reason, my gut is just screaming they're going to get after him with Cassius Howe and the boys, and he's going to turn the ball over a couple of times. Can Miami lean and play ball control is going to be a massive deal here, more than what people realize.
I do think that that's a good part with this. If you can get your ground game going and you slow the game down, you need to control the pace of this. You've got a 4-deep running back room with some big bodies in there. I know that you mentioned attacking the perimeter and using Tony for that. Slow the game down if you're able to maintain a lead and you're able to take a 3-point lead, whatever it is. Slow it down, run the rock, prove the physicality that you have is there. And I think the same thing applies for A&M too, because like I don't know if Lev Moss has a chance of coming back.
And then look like it.
They've been predicting availability for players, by the way. I don't want to see anyone comment on this in a week and a half. I'm like, how dare you bring up this player that clearly isn't playing, the news that dropped a week after you did the preview. But the deal, though, with their health at running back, if you do have Lev Moss, Ruben Owens, and everything is good there, they can do the same exact thing. I'm very fired up for this game. I think it's going to be a total boxing match of a battle.
Should have been the primetime game. We shouldn't have Oregon and JMU at night.
Someone, I know that we're going to get to the super chats later. Dragon Jet made a really good point. The Saturday night primetime games for the NFL, I would much rather people watch the games when they're on.
I mean, I'm not an NFL guy.
Really? Yeah, I'm probably still gonna watch the G5 game, but like I like it when people watch the games. Because it's good for the sport.
Fair.